obviously SparkToro shows all sorts of data. It'll show you social accounts and podcasts and YouTube channels and websites, all these things that people pay attention to, read, watch, visit. And this really solves that truly painful, hard to get data of what does my audience pay attention to and to what degree do they pay attention to it. The two use cases that we hear the most from podcasters who've been using the product is number one, they use it for guest selection, right? So a podcaster might say, hey, I really want to reach, if you're in a B2B niche, I really want to reach CFOs in Canada, right? So I'm looking at, what do they pay attention to? What do they read? What do they follow? Who do they follow? Who do they engage with? Oh, okay. Maybe it's Michelle Romanow from Clearbank, and oh man, could we get her on the show, on the podcast? Because look, 62% or I don't know, 38% or whatever of CFOs in Canada follow her. Boy, if we could bring her to the show, that would really resonate. So that is one use case, and a lot of folks use SparkToro for guest selection. It's got hundreds of results in there, so you can kind of go down the list and see if you can find a perfect person who also has some overlap with the right audience. And then the second use case that we've talked to podcasters about is topics. So essentially, they'll plug in and say, hey, those CFOs in Canada, they're really interested in, gosh, I wouldn't have necessarily thought this, but I see that cryptocurrency is a hashtag that many of them have used in the last 90 days. I don't know whether they're doing that because they're interested in it or they're skeptical of it or they're frustrated by it. But whatever the case is, that's a topic of interest. Let's do an episode on that topic, right? And so that it's really about identifying both the interests of your guests, right? Because SparkToro shows you words and phrases and hashtags that those people use in their posts, their public posts. And it gives you information about what they follow so that you can find people or sources of influence to bring onto the program. Maybe there's a, very popular company in your sector and you go, okay, can we find someone from that company or has experience there? Let's bring them on the show. And in this way, you're doing what every great content creator does, which is essentially serving your audience's interests. I love old school, what used to be influencer marketing. So I'm just taking away the R. And that's essentially what I do. So I do a lot of finding people, publications, social accounts. LinkedIn and Twitter have both been really big drivers for us. Reddit, some subreddit communities have been drivers of traffic for us. Lots of blogs and industry websites in the marketing universe, lots of podcasts, live streams, a ton of online events since COVID. All of those have been big contributors to SparkToro's growth. And when you look at our traffic sources, it's just wild to see that search engine optimization, SEO traffic is almost nothing. Like literally our Google traffic, if you take away our branded search terms, which essentially just people going to Google and typing SparkToro itself, we have almost no search traffic whatsoever. Everything is social, blogs, content, type in, referral, people who've listened to us. And that has been relatively effective. We've got about 35,000 free users right now.